is there's the old saying like hubris precedes nemesis, and Penguin, every time he makes a move that is successful, or if he gets one over on someone, he immediately assumes that it's locked away and done. And obviously, as we've seen through the previous 3 seasons of our show, that that's not the case. He thinks he's in a safe place, like keeping Riddler right there, but he's also like frozen the dude in a block of ice and put it as the centerpiece of the Penguin Lounge, the Iceberg Lounge.
Yeah.
So anyway, stay tuned. Yeah.
Ivy and Penguin make such a fun team.
Yeah.
Are we going to witness more of that, right?
Yes. So at the beginning of the season, definitely, because again, as it is with all of our characters, it's like, whether they're allies or friends, throughout our show, so many of us have been saved by other characters, either knowingly or unknowingly.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like he owes other people, like he owes Jim Gordon his life, he also owes Ivy his life, Whether or not he truly respects that remains to be seen. But yeah, she's definitely, she was there when he had absolutely nobody. And it's fun too, because she, is essentially a younger girl in her mind. And there's just something fun about like those two opposites, because you have like this idealistic, and then also like incredibly like, she has an otherworldly understanding of plants and their properties, like this sort of realm of expertise that Penguin has absolutely no interest nor, capability in that regard. So just seeing the two opposites, that they make together is pretty, it's fun. So yeah, more of that definitely.
Now that you've played so much of his backstory with his parents, how cognizant are you of that aspect of his mythology, and how does it influence your portrayal of just like his other material and his actions?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I've said, and Danny, actually it was Danny Cannon, our executive producer, who said that, one of the tenets of our show is, one of the bigger overarching themes is, what happens to a human when love is lost, when love is taken away from them, when they don't experience love, when they don't understand what it is. It's all about this loss of love and the lack of it. And then what happens is you create supervillains. You create people who have no empathy, who have no, who put only themselves first, and so that, that's the overarching story that we're telling here. And the loss of, Oswald's loss of his parents are an intrinsic, like, at least in the story that we are telling in our show, the loss of his parents are the reason why he becomes the monster, why there is no, ultimately, regardless of if there's something sympathetic about him or whatever people can see into that, regardless of all of that, he's a person who becomes a monster and deserves no empathy nor no sympathy. Like what he has done to innocent people since the pilot of our show, that alone in and of itself, But again, the loss of his parents are, I would say, the main driving reason why he puts no one else above himself, ever for the rest of his life. So, yeah.
So we've seen Henchman Penguin, we've seen Crime Boss Penguin, we've seen Mayor Penguin. How is Club Owner Penguin going to be different, and what's going to be the same about him next season?
Well, his ambition grows every season, as we've seen. It's like, to get out from under Fish Mooney, that was what it was in season 1. And then season 2, it was like trying to be, be the king of Gotham that he wanted to be, and failing miserably. Season 3, the mayor, like running for mayor, trying to learn the city, failing at that as well. Season 4, it's like taking all those lessons we learned and, basically going back to being the king of Gotham, similar to where he was at the beginning of season 2. However, with much bigger ambition and also much more connections. Like he is not only just playing, in the organized crime scene of Gotham. It's not just a hand in there. He's putting his hand directly into the GCPD, directly into Jim Gordon's business, and and basically using the GCPD as a tool against Jim Gordon. And I think, like, you know, there's something about learning about. There's something about the ambition of that, like, you know, and using it against the person that, again, like I mentioned earlier, the guy who saved his life, the reason he's alive, and, like, you know, I think it shows a whole new ruthlessness and a whole new, I don't know, just a whole new drive and ambition of the character this year. Yeah. I wanted to say, I would have been wanting to say this today, I'll say it now because I had the opportunity, but, like, what's happening, like, us going into season 4 is such a big vote of confidence, and there's so many things about Gotham that weirdly mirror all, like, at least, you know, coincidences with our own personal lives, you know, like what the characters are going through. And also when you live with a character for 4 years, you look for those patterns. It's like when you know what, oh my god, it's like what's happening to me is kind of what's happening to him, or, you know. And one of the big examples is, like, we have that sense of confidence as actors, having a 4th season and having, like, you know, the okay go from the Warner Brothers to, like, just go for it. And I think that's actually reflected, and you'll talk to everybody else, but you can see that that's all reflected into all of the actors who have been at the show from the beginning. You know, so we also all have that. The characters themselves have that same confidence that we, the actors, do, which is exciting.
It's ready to go.
Just wanted to say that.
Do you think he now embraces his freak side? Like, because Poison Ivy was trying to say the army of the freaks. So, and Penguin has always seen, like, him being a freak as a negative thing. Do you think he's going to see it as a positive?
Oh, absolutely, because again, that's the other freedom that's unlocked for Penguin in this season, is because when you're mayor, you know, you have to, regardless of how, well, current politics notwithstanding, you know, but you know, you have to conform to a certain, you know, certain ideals. You know, you have to behave and, you know, just even, like, show yourself in a different way. You know, now that he's not mayor anymore, and he's just, like, he's just, you know, he's not just, but he's the king of Gotham Underworld, king of, you know, owns the Iceberg Lounge. He can let his freak flag fly. You know, you'll see that, you know, right when we launch season 4. You know, it's like he's given all license to be whoever the hell he wants to be, you know, and not apologize for it at all. And that's really exciting. You know.
Penguin is an incredibly ruthless, cunning, and powerful character.
Yeah.
This year, one of the most interesting parts I thought was your kind of journey of self-discovery, where you get to play a member of the community.
Sure.
It's incredibly underrepresented on film, and you're one of the clear stars of the show. What does it mean to you to be able to play a member of the community on film on a major network?
Well, it's an enormous responsibility, and, you know, and it's a really complicated answer, because obviously I as a gay man, it's incredibly personally important to me to not be cynical, to be honest with the character and true to the character, true to, you know, what his singular experience is. And also, like, anytime you can show diversity on television, especially LGBTQIA, you know, is an amazing gift. However, I will say, though, in that I have a hard time accepting Oswald as a member of that community, because he, as what we see with the Riddler, he has absolutely no idea what love is. He has absolutely no true concept of what he is, because what he does when he falls in love is that he rips the person that his loved one is most interested out of his life. He murders that person. Like, that's someone who, you know, is obviously so damaged, and so, like, the moral compass is so off. You know what I mean? I have a really hard time, like, ascribing his experience, you know, to, like, that of an LGBTQIA. You know what I mean? I love that. Just in the very least, we showed that, you know, we portrayed, you know, this connection between the two characters, whether you want to call it love or whatever. But my favorite thing about doing that, and this is a testament to the writers, is that none of the characters used it as a derogatory thing against Oswald. You know, it wasn't treated like, you're gay, I'm gonna blackmail you. Like, it was never about shaming him for being it. It was about, like, you know, getting one over on him because he's a fucking asshole. But, you know, like, but it wasn't about him being gay, which that's what I'm most proud of about that story. It was just another relationship, and it wasn't treated, you know, yeah, so, yeah, awesome. Thank you for asking. Thank you.